Is Anthony Black all of a sudden becoming a guy on this team that, like, maybe we're not saying build around, but you're talking three-headed monster?
Yeah, I think so. Anthony Black has had a heck of a breakout season. I think this is the kind of season that Magic fans and that front offense were hoping for when they took him with the, what was that? I think the 6th overall pick back in the 23 draft, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. He's been sensational. I think a lot of credit goes to him, and also to one of the Magic's new assistant coaches, the legendary God Shamgod. Been in the lab with Anthony Black over the offseason, and
Hitting the
you could tell that,
crossovers, man.
yeah, man, one of the greatest, New York City legend. The handle is better. The shot looks a lot better. I think Anthony Black right now is shooting like 36% from three, which is like night and day compared to when he,
You don't think he's ever going to be a great shooter, though? That's going to be kind of the
yeah,
basic skill, maybe?
no, I don't think he'll ever be like an elite 3-point shooter, but with his ability, with his frame at 6'7", his athletic ability, his change of pace, if he could just be league average from three, like 37%, he could be a really, really good player, like a really good contributing piece on I think a title contending team. So he's honestly been the saving grace for this Magic team this year. He's been probably the brightest spot. Because like you were mentioning in the intro, it's been a pretty disappointing season for Magic fans, right? We came in here with high expectations. I thought they were going to be a top 3 seed in the East. Right now, they're a 7 seed. They're in the play-in, which is where they were in a year ago. And unfortunately, it's kind of the same thing as it was last year. Injuries. Franz Wagner has missed.
Right? Yep.
They just can't catch a break with injuries.
How many games have they played together between Franz and Paolo?
Oh, this year, maybe a handful or more. I don't know. They played a couple. They started the season healthy together, and then I think by, I would say early December, Paolo went out, and then he missed like 2 weeks. And around in that same time frame, Paolo comes back, and like the game or two after that, Franz goes out. And Franz has been out. He's back now, but he missed about 30-something games, I think. Not to mention Jalen Suggs also missed a large chunk of time. And then on top of that, he's not a star like those guys, but Mo Wagner, who was, a 6th man of the year candidate last year before he went down with an ACL injury. He's been out for the entire season until like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he's still on a minutes restriction, but he's been a nice, boost of energy off the bench for them. So I think somebody mentioned it the other week when they played the Bucks. It was the first time this team has been completely healthy. Paolo, Franz, Suggs, and Mo Wagner, the whole roster, in more than a year. So that is the injury luck that the Magic have unfortunately been dealing with for the better part of 2 years now.
Take away the injuries. Does this team have enough to seriously, I'm talking, get to the Eastern Conference Finals? I think Detroit's kind of a wagon, man. Like, I think they have all the ingredients to be, maybe they're a year away, but with that defense and then the playmaking chops of Cade and then Duren to kind of formulate that 1-2 punch, it's an interesting way to build a team, and it's kind of worked there. My thing is, with their shooting abilities, if Duncan Robinson goes down or Herter's not shooting the basketball well, like, can you maybe outshoot them in a 7-game series? But aside from that, man, they're tough.
They are. No, Detroit's really, really good. And I've really liked what I've seen from Cleveland recently. I mean, they were one of the bigger disappointments to start the season.
You like that acquisition, man. You like the Jimmy Harden acquisition.
Dude, I wasn't sure about it at first, but now I'm like, dude, he's a great addition. Him, Schroeder, Keon Ellis, like, I love the moves that the Cavs made ahead of the deadline. Like, them and the Pistons scare me the most in the East right now. Like, they're two really, really good teams. The Magic, are they
better than their seeding right now?
Yes, I will say that. I think I'm a hopeless optimist. I think the fact that they are finally fully healthy and they've got about 29, 28 games left, and they have like the 19th easiest remaining schedule, I think they got a chance to make up some ground here. Do I think they could still get, what Magic fans are hoping for, a top 4 seed, get home court advantage in the first round? Probably not. That would take like a crazy run by them, and then, some sort of, fall off a cliff situation for one of those top 4 teams. But I think the 5th seed or 6th seed is still in play, and just get out of the play. And I think that's the main thing for them. That's the main goal. And I think they do have a chance. I will say a lot of Magic fans are hesitant to say that, because we've seen, even when they have been pretty healthy for the most part, this team is still struggling. Like, they're still one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league. Offensively, they're a little bit better. Like, their offensive rating last year was 24th, 25th in the league. They're 19th right now. That's still pretty bad. Like, it's better technically, but that's not going to win you much in the playoffs. And now the issue is defensively. They have taken a step back, Chuck. Like, this is a team the past, pretty much since Jamal Mosley's been there, a top 10, top 5 defensive team in the league. And right now they're 14th in defensive rating. Now, a big part of that is because Suggs and Franz have been out for so long, and those are two of your best, if not your two best defensive players on the team. But yeah, they got to pick it up on both ends of the floor these last 20-odd some games if they want any chance at making a run in the playoffs.
Yeah, you look at certain teams, and granted, I'm talking about two teams in the West here that, Oklahoma City, where they've been struggling a little bit on offense, especially since Shea's been out. I think they're like 10th in efficiency the last couple of months, whereas you know what you're going to get from their defense. Nuggets kind of vice versa. Defense, offense, potent. It sounds like the Magic, correct me if I'm wrong, statistically, they're just kind of middle of the pack in both those things. And I don't think they did enough in the offseason, looking back on it. I mean, Bane, great acquisition. I know he got off to the slow start. He's picked it up since then for sure. What are your thoughts on Desmond Bane and that being like the lone kind of big swing that the Magic took in the offseason?
I mean, personally, I thank goodness they got Desmond Bane because he has single-handedly won them several games this year. If Bane wasn't on this team's probably below 500 and probably struggling to be in the play-in. Like, if I'm being totally honest, he's been great. Obviously, you mentioned the struggles to start the year, but I think he's up to like 37% from three. He's averaging like 19 a game. He's been great, honestly. I think they missed on a couple other opportunities. I think one of the biggest was they whiffed on the acquisition of Tyus Jones. And I'm at fault, just like anyone else. I thought that was a great pickup.
The hype train. Yep.
I bought the hype train. I've been on that hype train for years.
How much are they paying him?
It was a 1-year, $7 million deal. So it wasn't like the end of the world, but I thought that was a perfect addition for this team. And it was far from perfect. Actually, it was a train wreck. So much so that they dumped him at the trade deadline for basically nothing to essentially get under the luxury tax. That was the only reason they moved him, because Paolo's extension kicks in next year, and they're going to be paying a lot of money for that core four of Paolo, Bane. So they had to make room somewhere. I just you hope that. I think one of the biggest issues too. You talk about Paolo. You've been waiting for this Paolo leap. I think we saw Paolo 2 years ago as an all-star. Last year, he missed a lot of time with injury, but still had some big moments, was great in the playoff series against the Celtics. But could he make that jump to superstardom in year, what is this now, 4 for him? And we just haven't seen it. Like, we haven't. He struggled. The three-point shot still looks really bad. The outside shooting in general still looks really poor. He's not a great finisher around the rim. And he's a little too indecisive sometimes with the ball offensively. Like, it just takes too long for him to figure out, like, am I going to dish this away, or am I going to go one-on-one and do something? And now a lot of Magic fans, the rumor is they're going to go with it here is like, they think he's either put on some weight, he may be a little heavier, or is he still dealing with the groin injury? Because some Magic fans have noted he looks a little less explosive offensively, which I could see that to an extent. Like, he's not really blown by guys anymore. He's not really finishing well at the rim. He never was a great finisher to begin with, but just even now, he's like missing dunks. He's not even trying to dunk as often as he was in the past. And then the other big thing is, like, his effort on defense has been atrocious. Like, he's never, obviously that was kind of one of the big nicks on him coming into the league was, can you get him to like really buy him on the defensive end? And he's been fine the first couple of years, but this year, I forgot who it was. I think it was the All City NBA guys, the podcast that Jay Billis does. They put out a graph that was like top 10 guys in the league that have like given up the most blow-bys, and Paolo's on that list. And I was not shocked at all to see him on that list, because there are numerous times where, like, he's never getting matched up with the best player on the opposing team. That assignment goes to Anthony Black, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner. So Paolo gets one-on-ones with like the third or fourth best option, and just multiple times a game, you'll see him just guard him at the three-point line and just go right by him. And I don't know if that's, like, I know he's not the most laterally quick, but like, got to give me a little bit more than that guy. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It just feels like if they fall out of the first round this year, Jamal Mosley he's going to get fired, most likely, which I think is probably the right move, and really the only move they can make, the front office, because you have so much salary tied into the rest of your roster. Like, it's just too hard to make a move like that. And I know the big candidate Magic fans wants Michael Malone. And let's say they go ahead and get him. If by next deadline, the Magic are right back where they are now, where they're like struggling to like stay out of the play-in, it's probably time to have an uncomfortable conversation about Paolo and whether the fit is right with him and Franz on this team. Because if you're asking me to keep one guy right now, I'm probably going to keep Franz. And I wouldn't have said that to you to start the season. I love Paolo. I'm still a Paolo supporter. I think he'll figure it out. But the numbers don't lie, and my eyes don't lie. Franz impacts winning right now more than Paolo does.
Let me ask you this. He's that age, 23 years old. You look at some other guys around the league. I'm looking at this from like a trading card, sports basketball card perspective, where you either collect the rookie cards or at a certain point you say, maybe this thing's hit its peak and you no longer become a buyer, you become a holder or a seller. Buy, hold, sell. Long-term career of Paolo. When you're talking about people trading out Jaws and selling those right now, and same with Zion Williamson's and stock like that and bringing in different players, how would you feel about, holding, selling, or buying a large Paolo Banchero investment right now when it comes to cardboard?
I'm going to hold. I would hold.
Okay.
I'm absolutely, like I said, I'm still a believer. I absolutely am.
Value's pretty high still. I think a lot of people are
like,
still believers.
He's 23 years old, man. Like, guys don't hit their prime in the NBA till their late 20s. And from everything we've heard, he seems like a good teammate. He seems like he's got a great work ethic. Like, I'm not ready to give up on him. I'm not ready to give up on a guy who's 6'10", 250 pounds, built like a freight train, that can handle the ball, that can facilitate a little bit. If he could just get in the gym and somehow, I don't know what shooting coach he has to work with, but become league average. If he's just, because Chuck, he's not bad at shooting. He's like one of the worst jump shooters in the league. Like, if you're going to take all 400 some odd NBA players, he's near the bottom. If he could just get to league average, then you're talking about a perennial all-star, which I think is what he is, truly.